I used to be really afraid of ghosts. Like, it was like my biggest fear. And now, not so much. I'm going to tell you how. Thought it'd be an interesting story. Let's go.
My happiness is right where I left it. I can remember when the simplest was all I wanted.
Hello everyone and welcome to Freedom Friday, where you learn how to free yourself and live your dreams. I'm Darienne from DariAwakened.com, and today I am going to tell you the story of how I got over my fear of death and the spirit world. Okay, so I don't know, I just felt like I should tell this story. Last week I talked about a spiritual experience that I had, which later on helped me get out of my debt mentality. But it was like this crazy, paranormal, weird experience where I felt some sort of being lay on top of me and then sink into me and then pull me down. And it was heavy and very strange, and it was something that would have freaked me the F out if this were years earlier. So why now does it not freak me out? And it freaks a lot of people out. Trust me, my biggest fear was ghosts when I was younger. I used to have these visions of these demonic faces. Every time I closed my eyes in bed, I would have these crazy visions, and I really, it was effing scary. And then this happened. Of course, I've been reading, for the last 6 years, I've been reading A Course in Miracles, and it tells you all about how death isn't real, and this whole world, it's all an illusion, it's all just a projection of our minds. And I'd been studying that. I'd been studying it, and then in 2010, my daughter's father died. He had committed suicide. There's a lot of stigma around that. There's a lot of fear. Do those people go to hell? There's a lot of really scary, heavy shit around that subject of death. And he and I had a really toxic relationship. Oh my God, is he gonna haunt me? I had all these crazy, I didn't know what to believe. And I think a lot of us are like that. It's has he gone to hell? Is he gonna come back from hell? Is he gonna haunt me? Is he gonna make my life a living hell? Even if he's not in hell, is he gonna just freak me out? Am I gonna see an apparatus of him one day? Am I gonna is all that real? I don't know. We all have these questions, and we don't really talk about them. And a lot of people have said that my house is not necessarily haunted, but a lot of people have said that my house has ghosts in it, which I don't really feel that. If there's anything here, it's a shitload of angels, I'll tell you that much. And if there is, there very well could be some spirits here, but they're not here to harm. And if they are, I can just, hey, I got a posse of angels that can help me out. So how is it that I am not deathly afraid? Afraid, my fear of death and ghosts and that whole concept of the spirit world was my greatest fear. So how is it now that I'm not really so afraid of that? And I'm able to communicate with it and not feel freaked the F out, When my daughter's father passed, I started getting this fear of him haunting me. And I was scared. I could feel him. I could feel him come into my room sometimes. And sometimes I wasn't sure if it was all in my head, if my fear was so great. I would become petrified. I would be shaking and, just frozen. And then one day I said to my aunt, probably months later, about it. And I said, I'm afraid he's going to haunt me. And she said, well, if you're afraid, then he already is haunting you. And I thought about that for a second. And what does that tell you when you really think about it? I'm afraid he's going to haunt me. And then that reply being, well, if you're afraid, then he already is haunting you. I had allowed my fear, that one statement made me realize that I had allowed my fear to create more fear, and my mind to create this whole illusion of being haunted. And my whole mind created this whole thing. So I made the decision to not be afraid anymore. Of course, I've had plenty of times where I've spoken to him, and after he passed, I started looking up how to talk to dead people and how to communicate with the spirit world. And I think when somebody close to you dies, you start to become uber aware of the spirit world. And this may be like, probably should have given a woo-woo disclaimer before I started talking about this stuff. But yeah, you just start to become like uber aware of like the spirit world, and like, you come up with all the big questions that we have in life. They really come to the forefront, and it's like, where are your loved ones now, and what are they doing now, and are they still with you, and how do I speak to them, and are they trying to speak to me, and that whole question of, is he haunting me, it really put things in perspective, and it made me realize that I was creating that as long as I'm fearing, as long as I'm living in fear about it, I am already being haunted. Right? So I started to realize how powerful I am. And I started to try to communicate with him. And what I would focus on is, I would think about the memories that he and I had, and him and my daughter, and having our daughter, and all of the years of the memories, and when I thought about it for long enough, I could feel him. It were almost like I was calling on him. It was like I was calling on his energy. So I would think about him, and if you have a loved one that you've lost that's gone over to the other side, do this right now. Just have a memory about them, and a good memory, and just start to think about it, and think about, I would think about when he would tell me stories, and he always poked me. He told me these stories, and he would get real excited. He would start to whisper, and then he would get this like twinkle in his eye when he would tell me these stories, and it would always annoy me when he poked me. I'm like, all right, tell me the story, just don't keep poking me. And just thinking about that memory, it would start to bring about his energy, and then I could feel him as if he was in the room. It was like he was there. He just wasn't physically there, but his energy was there. It was like he had never left. It was like he had never died. And that is when I realized that death didn't exist. That is when I really realized, like, not just from reading A Course in Miracles, not just from reading all the books, not just from listening to what all the gurus tell you, but I experienced it for myself, that death didn't exist. Because if he had really died, and if death was really true, then I wouldn't be able to have a memory of him and then feel his energy like he was there. I wouldn't be able to feel him, because that energy would be gone. He would be dead. It would be gone. And so I realized that day, and throughout that experience, that the death wasn't real. And I also began to realize my own power and my own strength. And by choosing not to live in a fearful way about it, and by choosing to always see the light, and by choosing to see that in all people is love, just as in the whole spirit world is love. And if I call upon the angels and I set my intention on being loved and protected, no matter what, there is nothing that can get through that protective barrier of love, because my mind controls it. My mind controls whether I'm being haunted or whether I'm being loved and protected. And the angels are going, yes, 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 yes. My mind, just as your mind controlled. You are running the show. And it's like, I didn't realize how much I was really running the show until I realized those two things. That it's all in my mind. And that death isn't real. We are living eternally. I mean, when you think about it, and even if you think about like a very left brain scientific, like we can cut the woo-woo shit for a second, you know, and think about it in a very scientific matter, like physics, okay? Energy never dies. It's not possible. Energy never dies. You read a book about science, physics, energy never dies. It never does. All it does is change form, right? It just changes form. We're constantly changing form. Okay, think about this on a whole nother light, right? When, I don't want to get too crazy. Okay. When grass grows, right? It grows from the ground. And then a bird comes and eats it. And then the bird digests it. And then it goes back into the ground, and it goes into the soil that regrows more grass, right? It's the cycle of life. It's how that grass has always been grass. The energy, it's never died. The energy that made the grass grow has never died. The energy that embodied my daughter's father, right? That energy has never died. It will never die. The energy that embodies your loved ones and you and every single solitary molecule on this planet, the energy that embodies it never dies. And when you really think about it, that's why we're all one. Because we are the energy. We are the energy that embodies all things. And there will come a time where this body is gone and the energy within will transform, it will flow, it will grow into those grass seeds. It will be swallowed by the bird. It will be spit out into the baby bird's mouth. You know, it's like all of that. It will grow the strawberries. It will become the seed. It's, you know, in a sense, in essence, we are all one. And the energy never dies. Whether you are totally woo-woo or you're completely scientific and you understand that energy never dies. Either way, we could go with it. But that is how I'm able to have these crazy spiritual experiences, like having a person or some sort of being lay on top of me in the middle of the night and then sink into my body and then sink beyond me and me not get freaked out. My first initial reaction is like, you know, of course I'm going to get a little bit freaked out, but then I can go, all right, I can make the decision to not be freaked out about it. I can make the decision to understand that I am always protected, that I can never die, that I am eternal, and that I am powerful. I make that decision and then I go, what do you have to teach me? And then I can open myself up, because fear closes us. It makes us blind. But when we open ourselves up, we realize our own power. We can see love. We can accept and receive the messages. We can flow with the energy of life. We can flow with the eternal energy of life that embodies all of us. That was a total woo-woo one. I don't think I've ever been that woo-woo. But people need it. I mean, I wouldn't be making this video right now if somebody on this planet didn't need it. You know, spirit wouldn't inspire me to do so. So I love you. Please join the woo-woo inspiration conversation today. I swear I'm not normally this woo-woo if I freaked you out. I don't know. I'm just going with it. Yeah, join the inspiration conversation on DarianeAwaken.com. Make sure you follow me on social media at Darienne Empire and join the mission to change the face of social media into a loving and inspiring place to be on missionlovemovement.com. And every single Tuesday night, I give you free live webinars. Yes, on top of free Freedom Friday, there's free Mission Love. It's just gifts galore. All right, I love you guys. Make sure if you sign up for Freedom Friday, you also get a free gift, a guided meditation called Expanding Love to raise your vibrations and attract all the things you love in your life. It doesn't get any better than that. This is like going shopping. I just gave you a shit ton of gifts. All right. I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all next week.